Well, all right. The fourth episode of Daredevil Born Again, season number 2. It's probably their best episode, at least for this season. It still has a lot of the stuff that drags it, but not as much as the first 3. So, and really, this episode is saved by Bullseye, who pretty much takes over the show. It's not all him. There's a lot of Daredevil in it and all that. And yeah, Matt Murdock pretty much stays in the Daredevil suit throughout the show, except when he disguises himself as one of Kingpin's officers and that sort of thing. But you get a look at where Bullseye has been staying and stuff like that and what he's up to. And, you know, his motives are obvious, and he continues on from the previous season and all that sort of stuff. And he finally kind of sort of gets an outfit. He has a mask with a bullseye on it. So, that's as good as it's gonna get, I guess. I guess it's better than having it carved in his forehead like they did with Colin Farrell in the Affleck movie, but whatever, So anyway, the rest of it, it's the aftermath of the jailbreak at Red Hook, and I guess that's it for the swordsman. He's out of town, but he's offering one of his bank accounts to Murdoch and all. So it's off we go. The little girl still very much in play for their revolution and everything, despite the fact that it's so irresponsible. And then Daredevil notices she's wearing the medallion because, I don't know, his radar sense detects it. And he says, "You understand the responsibility," or something like that. She says, "Yes, I do." "Well, are you ready?" "No, she's too young." When she's older, maybe. But the problem, right? You look at all that violent stuff you're involved in. You really want to send a woman into that? So anyway, of course, you do get some enhanced powers from the amulet, so I guess that would give her an edge, So the rest of it is more the relationship with, Fisk and Vanessa and all that. And the Kingpin wants to do this boxing match as a fundraiser for his Born Again initiative for New York and all this sort of stuff. And it's a publicity thing that he'll do. But the real purpose, there's always an ulterior purpose. It's because he needs to use himself as bait to lure Bullseye out. And that was the whole thing. So, of course, he shows up. And all hell breaks loose. Daredevil's tracking him, and as part of the story, he looks into this and that. And then, man, that radar sense, is like he was able to track the pathway to the secret prison in the previous episode just by the woman describing what sounds she heard. Here, he goes to a crime scene that Bullseye created and digs through it and finds this keepsake, or perhaps it was an item that Bullseye wanted him to find. I don't know, but it's a little coin he had. And so he finds it, but it's like, come on. It was a diner, so there probably could have been coins all over the place. But anyway, he finds that one, and he realizes what it is. It leads him to that church that he attended when he was a kid and all that sort of stuff. And eventually is able to figure out where Bullseye lives and stuff like that. So they have a little struggle and fight there, but ultimately it all comes down to the boxing match that Kingpin has. And of course, he's extremely brutal to his opponent. And then Bullseye shows up and the fight's on. He pretty much takes out Kingpin's guards, stuff like that, because, he never misses and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Vanessa shows up. That distracts Kingpin during the fight, and he didn't want her there for obvious reasons, because ultimately she's the real target that Bullseye wants to take out because, the previous episode and all that. And he almost, did he? I'll leave that. It doesn't look good, but then again, I don't know. If they're going with elements of the comic book stories, I do know Vanessa at one point was seriously injured and had to be basically evacuated and hidden in somewhere in Europe so that Kingpin's enemies couldn't find her and stuff like that. I don't know if this is on par with that, but maybe. But anyway, a Daredevil shows up, but a little late in some instances, but the fight is on again with them, and they end up outside the event, and Daredevil's chasing Bullseye down the street, and then we cut back to Kingpin and Vanessa, and it's not looking great for Vanessa. But then again, I don't know. From the wound, I'm thinking she could probably survive that. Not, without some amount of disability, but nevertheless. But we'll see what they do following that. But then again, the way the episode is presented, as if Vanessa's the one thing that keeps Kingpin grounded. And if she's gone, then he's going to go full on monster and all this stuff. But I mean, good Lord, look what he's already done. Boy, she's really keeping him reined in, huh? So other elements with the I guess he technically is a CIA guy. And this was a meeting with him and that sort of thing. But his connection is supposed to be again with Fontaine. Thunderbolts and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's the explanation for the weapons being smuggled in and all that from the ship and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just tossed there. And BB and whatnot. But thank goodness that was to a minimum, which has gotten to the point to be a bit irritating with the reports and everything. I heard you the first time and all that. And obviously she's going to get found out and it's going to be a real problem. And Soprano Jr., what will he do? Or will he take the fall to save her or something like that? I don't know. But there you go. Really, Bullseye. It's the Bullseye. And saves the day for the show. This was their best episode. Not by much, it's problem, but the stuff that bothers me the most was reduced greatly. The boredom in some scenes that I thought dragged on too long and that kind of thing. Yeah, there's still some of that. But overall, this one was a pretty good episode for what it is. It's still not on par with the first two seasons that Netflix produced. But this one's the best one they did. It's not that Daredevil was terrible in it or anything. He's not. But Bullseye, ironically enough, kind of saved the day.